We live in a patriarchal society created by men, managed by men, and we continue to have people who believe that women do not have the same opportunity or deserve the same opportunities as men.
In every state, including Kentucky, there is a gap between how much men make and how much women make, which is a result of gender discrimination and needs to go. The national average pay gap between men and women in America is 83%, or 83 cents out of every dollar. This percentage varies by state, by race, and by occupation. By looking at the laws of and first-hand experiences in the working world, we can see how the wage gap is still able to exist. The Equal Pay Act was enacted in 1963 by the U.S. government. While legislation like this helps limit the wage gap legally, it does not limit all the instances of discrimination women face every day. This means that in order to fully close the gap, people have to be aware of the issue to be able to fix it.
So I'm Dr. Jill Parrott, and I'm a professor in the English department at EKU. I've been here since 2011.
Well, I currently work as an office manager, executive assistant for a financial advisor.
For a company called Focus Forward. And what we do is we help people with ADHD.
Things happen to me that I would call harassment. My immediate superior at that job made a habit of making comments about my body, and also took a really patriarchal and fatherly tone with me a lot of times, even though he wasn't that much older than me.
The landlord for that building was incredibly sexist, to the point where if there was a problem with the building and I was the only person there, he wouldn't speak to me.
That person really made me feel like I didn't know what I was doing and that I really struggled.
Town on the streets of Lexington asking people what they think about the gender pay gap.
Do you know what the gender pay gap is?
I do not know what the gender pay gap is.
I currently know.
Yes, I do.
No.
All right.
I know what it's supposed to be. I don't agree that it exists. There is zero pay gap.
Oh yeah, of course I think it's real. Yeah.
Generally, no. I think that there is a lot of disparity in the way that women are treated in the workplace.
From my perspective, like the way I see my friends around women, yeah.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we're, as a society, in fact, a lot of times when you go to courthouses, women are treated above equally. It doesn't start out 50-50, and it should be. I'm all for equality. Okay?
Cool. Now, one time, granted, there was an instance where I knew that a male who had less experience than I had actually got paid more, and I found that information out. And when I relayed that information, it wasn't information I was supposed to know. And so they were like, well, you're not supposed to know that. So I was like, yeah, so I want to get paid $55,000 a year.
Yeah, I think definitely I've been in meetings where I'm on the same level as the other people in the meeting that I'm with, but if there's men in the room, they tend to kind of defer to the men as the decision makers. And so I've been in situations where people just kind of assume that I wasn't in charge. And that's like on a very minor level. But I've also worked in like more manual labor kind of situations where there are certain jobs that are assigned to women and certain jobs that are assigned to men in that context. And so that can be kind of like a moment where you just realize, oh, I'm perceived differently.
I think it's a systemic issue, right? Misogyny. Like, even if we go back to prior World War II, like, women weren't even allowed in the workforce. Like, if we think back in history, it's relatively new that women have even been allowed in the workforce, right?
A lot of it is also the kinds of jobs that women are relegated to. So a lot of these are, especially for women of color, domestic service workers. So people who clean houses, people who take care of children, care-oriented jobs, and a lot of those are paid less. And that's something that people can use to justify the wage gap and say, well, women just choose lower paying positions. But I think part of it is also how we structurally undervalue women's work.
Just think it's something that's been happening.
Yeah. Right, yes.
And so it's just hard to get out of it.
Yeah.
The movement to push women back in homes and out of the workforce.
It seems like the people of Lexington are aware about the issues surrounding the wage gap, but the question is, how do we put an end to them?
As a society, we need to value women's work more.
So we're making progress. It's doing stuff like this.
Yeah.
It's uniting together.
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
making note of it, like not backing down.
But talking about these issues is really important.
As well as like socially, just like talking to each other about it, having conversations.
As you can see, the people of Lexington seem to have a pretty basic knowledge of the wage gap and of discrimination with varying perspectives.
So it's perspective, right? It's that patriarchal perspective. Is an administrative assistant working any less hard than the person that who her desk is sitting in front of their office? I don't think so. I think she probably is maybe working even harder, right? But it's that the work isn't valued. I'm not sure I know how to make that cultural shift, but
Equal opportunity means it's a labor market for a reason, right?
When we come from different perspectives, it becomes challenging to comprehend the situation and identify ways to contribute.
I think we as women have to find this really odd balance where, when we're assertive, we're not, it's almost frowned upon, but if you're too soft, you're frowned upon. I mean, it's almost like you can't win. And that makes it really difficult as women to be in the workplace.
As women go through their life, getting educated, starting jobs, seizing opportunities, they have to face a society that has been forever run for and by men. The remnants of this structure, despite progress, can stand in the way of such opportunities, and even just equal treatment. In Kentucky, we have enacted equal pay laws, but not transparency laws. Such policies were implemented because it was evident that women were not being treated fairly in the workplace, but deserved to be. Men see more earnings than women, on average, even into retirement. While it also may seem like women have the same opportunities as men, it's not that simple.
One aspect of that, and it's multivariate, right? But I think one aspect of that is so I could say, well, if a woman wants to make a lot of money being an engineer, she should just become an engineer, right? But many of those fields are fields that have historically kept women from being part of it, whether it's official policy, not being allowed into the academic or collegiate programs, or whether it's not choosing them for apprenticeships, or just not choosing them for jobs, or if they do get a job or get into those spaces, that they're harassed to the point that they can't handle it.
According to the AAUW, 34% of women say that they have been sexually harassed in the workplace, and 37% of those women say it has disrupted job opportunities. Even if women can make it into jobs that pay fairly, they can't handle staying if it's deteriorating to their later careers or their mental well-being.
This issue occurs nationally, but it also occurs locally. Like the AAUW described, it seems that everyone knows a woman who has faced some kind of harassment. Whether workplace harassment is discriminatory or sexual in nature, allowing it to continue allows the pay gap to continue existing as well. Therefore, we must eliminate discrimination in our everyday lives in order to eliminate the gender pay gap.